What's up, guys? This is Chris from Abstract Tiger Productions. We're here, another fun episode of Bad Batch coming at you. And of course, I got my buddy Drew with me today. So, I'm excited. I'm really excited for this episode. Always excited about anything new Star Wars-y. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you for having me again. I had a great time last week, and I know we're gonna have a great time this week. I'm very excited for this week's episode as well. Last week, it was an episode. There wasn't a lot of movement on storyline wise.
Well, not really in the Bad Batch kind of realm, because they just crash landed on the planet. Some dragon doggo stole their power thingy and basically made doggy chew toy and Godzilla'd all the power out of it. So that what happened, but the big thing that really happened was with Crosshair. Yes, and with the Crosshair, he had gotten his own squad. Mm-hmm. He gotten his brain scrambled a little bit more, where the programming sticks a little bit better. Shot a couple people in cold blood.
I would say more than a couple, but yeah.
True, yes, but still.
and who he didn't shoot, he basically said, "You'll shoot them or I kill you." So there's that as well.
Yes. That was the final ultimatum after he shot the one guy who like he said, "Enjoy being commander, clone."
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's not really great whenever you start a mission by telling off your CO.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing really set a good precedent for you.
Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, you were in the military.
Yes.
I have not been, but I have great respect for those who have been, and I have family members who are, and various other friends. And yeah, that's something that just you don't do. I mean,
no.
It's like, yeah.
I can't guarantee that you would have been shot in cold blood, but there would have been some disciplinary action for sure.
Yes.
And we're talking just a little bit more severe than a spanking.
Yes. If you weren't outright, court-martialed and then dishonorably discharged, you at least spend some time in some brig somewhere.
Yes, absolutely.
Depending on the severity of the offense, I guess.
Yes.
And the number of times prior to which you were disciplined. But, I figured they wouldn't really put up with too many infractions.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, unfortunately, in the Star Wars universe, that's kind of how you move up in rank. You shoot the person that stands in your way.
Now that I think about it, that's actually really accurate. Because I'm going back and just thinking about all the Inquisitors from Clone Wars.
Yeah, and then, of course, that you got, obviously, in, Episode 5, you have the one guy who basically failed Vader one too many times, and then Admiral Piet. Well, he wasn't an admiral at the time. He was commander, and then got. Guess what? You're admiral now.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, thank you. I so don't want this."
But whenever Vader hands you a promotion, you don't say no. No, thank you, sir. I don't want that. Anyways. We're getting.
I would take the promotion because it comes with a pay bump, but that's just.
Do they really get paid? I guess with
chain
you
codes
staying alive. I get maybe chain codes, and maybe staying alive a little bit longer. Anyways, so I don't. All right.
Train, meet rails, and say goodbye.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes it goes off rails over a trestle on a deep gorge.
Yeah. You gotta have the Wilhelm in there.
Yeah. I'm not going to do the imitation of that. I cannot do that at all, and I'm not going to try, despite it may be hilarious. Anyways, so
do or do not. There is no choice.
yeah, and I'm not going to do in the story. All right, so shall we get started with this week's episode?
Yes, I am super excited. I'm super pumped.
All right, let's get going. Grievous. I'm trying to pick out all the different.
Yeah.
There's an Ezra helmet.
I was gonna say Chopper.
Yes,
Chopper has his own little droid image.
Yeah. Because his design is so unique.
It is indeed.
Oh, that is loud.
But all they do is just paint him black and just keep using him.
Cornered. Okay.
Which makes it the perfect place to hide out.
Hide? But I've been stuck on command my whole life. Can't we explore?
Not right now. We have to wait for things to settle down. Well, we won't be doing either. We don't have enough fuel, and we are also entirely out of rations.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. Food.
Yeah.
Gotta have food.
Is Pandora. Well, Pandora it is.
Antora. That sounds familiar. Oh, I know that. That's the one that had the talls on it. Well, at least the moon with the blue people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from the Clone Wars. Yeah.
Not to be confused with Pandora from Avatar.
Different kind of blue people. That's an interesting architecture. It looks like a little bit more like Arabian, like Aladdin. Those top things there.
It really reminded me of Naboo for a second.
You said you'd skip this step.
I could.
Right.
If I had some incentive of the financial variety.
Of course, you always gotta have some of those monies.
Is that sufficient incentive?
Apparently not.
Pleasure doing business with you.
We're getting the hang of this civilian thing.
Are you?
Not really.
I don't know if that's true yet.
Word on the channels is you're looking for a certain modified Omicron
Finnick!
Yeah.
Ooh!
but that information's gonna cost ya.
I'll make it well worth your while.
Oh, and they even got her voice.
Of course, yeah. I mean, no way.
Water Tech and I have to do all the repairs, or you get to go sightseeing.
Sightseeing?
No, that's not what we're here for. It's like a kid going to Walmart. Can we go buy the toys? No. Wow. So weird that they could do like a depth of field with the
Yeah.
in animation. I mean, Love Cats.
I love cats.
I would love a Love Cat plushie, one that doesn't look ugly, one that looks like actually like the show Love Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're heroes.
The end of the war. Things are changing quicker than I thought. Let's get what we came for and get out of here.
But the war is over. Isn't that good?
Depends which side you're on.
Yeah.
That's very accurate,
Yeah.
actually.
If you're on the Empire side, yeah, that's great. And everybody else, not so much.
Just tell me what to rip out.
Start with that.
Very technical of you, Wrecker. Let me
Seems
just
to run on
rip
some
out
form
over
of
there.
electricity.
Well, you're not wrong there.
If you're looking to sell something, how about your droid?
Droid.
He's a military prototype.
Military, eh?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, give me 2,000.
Give me a minute.
Great, they're gonna sell Echo. That's not great.
Once we get the supplies, I'll give you the signal and you can leave. Fine, but not at that price. I am worth more than 2,000. Make it 4,000. Deal.
Uh-oh, no.
Oh, come on.
Whoa. That's like
Hey, wait!
those that little dog thing that one lady from Resistance had.
I never watched Resistance. I saw a couple episodes, but I never watched it all the way through.
I actually watched both the seasons of that. We'll talk about that after.
Fair enough.
Yes, whatever you require.
Very droid-like.
Are you all right?
It does look like a very young Ming Na Wei.
It does.
That's cool. I like that.
I can help with that.
Then again, she is pretty ageless.
Absolutely.
She's like Paul Rudd.
I agree with that sentiment.
50 years old, I want to look like that young.
Was
I'll take your complaint.
I know. If you're alone, you should come with us.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Now that's the best offer I've had in a long time.
She's so
Come on.
naive,
This way.
unfortunately. Adorable, but naive.
Omega, step away from her.
Why? She was helping me look for you.
Yes, Omega and I were getting to know each other.
Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Omega, run!
I'll tap into the central security network. There should be enough cameras in the city to find her.
Listen, I made a bit of noise out here. Get the ship ready to go.
Well, it's not technically a ship at the moment.
It's a pile of parts.
Going to be a while.
I can help with that. Gear up, fellas. We're going into the field.
The sooner you're back in charge.
I'm not capable of removing our restraining bolts.
That's why I'm the supervisor.
He's got a point.
Where do you think you're all going? Get back inside. You're not a droid.
You got me for a bargain.
Oh, great. Always into the sewers.
Yeah, usually.
I have eyes on Omega. She went down into the maintenance tunnels. Head
Oh,
northwest.
not sewer, it's a maintenance tunnel. Sorry.
There's still sewers.
There's still, yeah.
Got company.
Get to the ship. I'll handle her.
I don't think so. I know you're strong, Wrecker, but she... Yeah, no.
You mess with me.
That went as well as I had anticipated. Wow. Wait. That tunnel went all the way up there?
Apparently so.
I do not see Wrecker, but Omega is hanging from a maintenance tower in the skyway. Hanging? For now. I suggest you hurry.
Uh-oh. That's why you don't leave your keys in the ignition. I bet you that's the dump cargo lever.
That would be problematic.
Yep. That's a very familiar sound.
Yeah.
Oh! Worse. It's pretty bad to get carjacked whenever your car is just, sitting there, but whenever you're actually driving. Oh!
Yeah.
Not God! Now she's a cop killer. Literally.
Indeed.
Hold on, kid. We're not out of this yet.
Okay, I just imagined that in live action and it was so cool.
Yeah. You need to work on your cardio there, buddy, as opposed to just your strength.
Yeah.
I'm missing all the action.
Rekka, pick up the pace. We don't have all day.
I'm here. No, they can't leave.
Oh, you're not going to get your payday because you turned them in.
Yeah, pretty much.
She has to be a bounty hunter.
A what?
Someone hired to retrieve targets.
And you appear to be the target.
Me?
Hey, don't scare the kid.
If they come back, you know how to contact me.
Why would they come back?
Yeah.
The target got away. But I'll find her.
I wonder if the Kaminoans actually did this. Because they're the only ones that know that Omega even exists. That'd be the only people I know of who would be able to hire. Unless... I don't know. Tarkin didn't have any sort of idea what, or even seem to care who Omega was. The only other person that I can think of is maybe Crosshair, to a certain extent, but I think he's too much under the thumb of Tarkin right now to be able to do anything like that.
No, I'm thinking, and this is just me speculating, I'm thinking that the person who hired Fennec to find Omega and bring her back is more, shall we say, insidious. Only because there is and I'm going to avoid getting into any speculative rumors or anything like that, but there are other theories floating around online that I've seen that are by fans just like us speculating that her being able to intuit what was about to happen across her is that she may be a force sensitive clone.
Yeah,
and in that case, who else would want her besides?
Yeah, like the Palpatine or whatever.
Exactly.
But the only way he would know about something like that it would be if Tarkin or somebody had told him or something like that.
He would feel it through the Force.
Maybe.
Because that's how Force users are able to track each other, is they can feel
to a
them.
certain extent, yes. If you're actually intentionally looking for maybe a specific person or something like that. Now, the only thing that kind of gives me pause on that is because there is that scene in Episode 6 where Vader goes to Palpatine and says, "My son is on the planet on the moon of Endor," and Palpatine's like, "Really? How do you know? I haven't sensed his presence." And then just, basically told Vader to go down and wait for him after, But, that's the only thing. I think Palpatine is probably got a lot more on his plate right now. He's wanting to probably more firmly establish the Empire's rule over the galaxy. He's still trying to root out all of the other means of commerce and, establish, the Empire as the saviors, I guess, of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Because it stopped the war.
Right.
As we saw, they were celebrating here the ending of the war. So,
right.
I don't know. It is kind of interesting. My personal thing is maybe, it could have been because of just some of the things that I've seen, after rewatching these episodes. Again, I think it's like maybe the Prime Minister of Kamino.
That's also a strong possibility.
Yeah, that Lama Su. Yeah, maybe. I mean, because I mean, it's just
that doesn't seem like from what we've seen between Clone Wars, Episode 2, and just this little bit of Bad Batch so far. I haven't gotten that kind of vibe from the Prime Minister that they would actually put a bounty on someone. They seem to be more, yes, they create clones for warfare, but they seem to be pretty peaceful for the most part.
Right, and that's why they would probably go through this backdoor route. That way, I mean, if they do, maybe send their own people out, that's a little bit more of a red flag, I guess you could say.
There's that, yeah.
That's just... thoughts. But yeah. I think what it is going to come down. Regardless, they're going to be taken back. She's going to be, if caught, she's going to be taken back to Camino, and whatever Nala Se was working on, that better clone or whatever.
Yeah.
Phase 2 or whatever the next phase is. Mm-hmm. That's part of her. Part of what her function is.
Right.
Other than that, loft cats.
Yes.
They're so adorable. And
another version of Angry Kitty.
Depends on how you're treated. They're actually like real cats.
Right. But the only time I've ever seen a loth cat be nice is when they were being manipulated. Other than that, all I see is and they'll attack anything they see.
I don't know. There was that one episode whenever in Rebels, I think it was season 4 or something like that. Maybe season 3, I don't remember. But I know it was Ezra, Ryder Azadi, Zeb, and maybe Sabine, where they were going to go and steal the flight recorder for the TIE Defender.
Yep.
And the cats just basically fell in love with Zeb and just kind of made,
Yeah, okay.
That's
true. Zeb.
Yes.
I want to see a live action Zeb so bad. Anyways.
Oh, goodness. And then we've got, let's see here. Didn't really, I mean, they came up, they were in the episode, the Pantaran, people, I guess. Yeah. They were, the blue, I don't want to call them the blue people.
The blue people.
The blue people from, I think it was like season 3 or season 2 of Clone Wars, where they went to one of their moons, and the general guy was just, oh, this is our territory, and blah, 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 and nobody else can have it, and the one shy senator, his aide, had to be kind of brought out of her shell to take command.
Yep.
Basically, so.
That happened a lot in early Clone Wars.
Yes, it did. And Anakin and Obi-Wan and 3PO actually brokered a peace treaty.
Yep.
3PO only being there because he can translate.
Yeah.
6 million forms of communication, and nobody cares.
I was going to say, they didn't really emphasize the fact that there's so many different species, races. They didn't really get into the xenolinguistics. Everyone was all speaking. Common
or whatever it is.
Yeah. So there wasn't really a need for a translator, which I thought is why we were about to see a protocol droid. That was not the case. No.
We saw somebody, I don't know, a group of droids that Echo basically took him over because he was sold as a droid.
Yes.
Kind of funny.
I think that's the best costume I've seen yet.
You got a great deal.
Yeah.
Whatever he said, that was
funny. You got me at a bargain.
You got me at a bargain. Yeah. That was funny.
Never tell me the odds. But Fennec.
Yes, we had Fennec Shand, voiced by the immortal Ming-Na Wen.
Yes.
Or the unaging.
Yes.
Yes, and I like the way they did the model for her. You made it look like a young version of her.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, it tracks because the only time we've seen her has been Mandalorian, which is like post Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
5-6 years or whatever it is.
Yep.
Where she's, she's about the same.
Yeah.
Talent wise. You could do it, and as a little bit more brutal.
A little bit.
And her taking out Wrecker is pretty much as I had anticipated.
Yeah. One hit.
Yeah. You didn't even really hit him.
Yeah. Just force against him and shove him into a wall.
Yeah, just
done. Just that was the greatest parry.
Yeah.
That was the greatest parry I have ever seen. Just like, okay, Rhino Man, let's go. Boom.
Smash.
Done.
Yeah.
I was very, very scared when I saw her. Because I remembered her line in Mandalorian or something like that. 20-something years and I've never missed a target. And I was like, okay, math, hang on. Empire Day. Is someone about to die in this episode? Like, I was doing math.
The only thing I can maybe think of is if obviously we have now more information than we have in episodes past.
Mm-hmm.
I think it because she had that she may actually end up getting Omega maybe closer to the end of the series, or it could be something along the line of maybe a mid-season break or something. Who knows? But she actually captures and goes back, takes Omega back to the Camino, and then her Bad Batch family has to come and go and rescue her. So technically, that would be her Fennec actually succeeding because she did what she was supposed to do. So
do you think that do you think this is a misdirect, or do you think that they're leaning away from, because the way they set up the first 3 episodes was that Crosshair was the one that was eventually going to be tasked to retrieve the Bad Batch. Now they've introduced Fennec.
Yeah, I think Fennec is strictly for returning Omega. Crosshair is going to be used for dealing with Bad Batch. Not necessarily
as 2 separate entities?
As 2 separate things, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So no team up.
Probably not. If they do, it's going to be a very...
masks.
If they do have a team up, it's going to be a very begrudging one. It's like, yeah, okay, I don't like you, you don't like me, and we're only here because we have a mutual goal in mind. The Bad Batch and Omega, they're together, so there you go. And they're usually, so, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if this was going to potentially foreshadow, since they are clones, and they look a little bit different, but not much. This was going to foreshadow her future partnership with Boba, because we are getting that soon, and I'm excited for that.
Well, that's still, I think that was still post.
Yeah, it was, but it's the reason why she in the future will give her allegiance, I guess you would call it, to Boba is he saved her life.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if something happens in Bad Batch that will help foreshadow that connection that they're going to have.
Maybe, but I don't think it's necessary.
I don't think it's necessary. I'm just wondering if that's something Dave would do.
I don't know. I think that little arc there within Mandalorian can stand on its own without having any really foreshadowing of any type. That's just me personally.
Yeah, I got you.
Though there is a Easter eggs, and like I said, in the reaction, they had those little doggy thingies or whatever that took Omega's little doll.
Yeah.
Though that is a creature from Star Wars Resistance. You did say that you had not seen Resistance except for maybe like a couple of episodes.
I watched like the first 2 episodes, and the animation was so different from Rebels, which is like, no offense to Clone Wars or anything like that, but Rebels was my first show I watched, because I watched Clone Wars after. Rebels was my first show I watched, and so that's like in my mind the pinnacle of Star Wars animation. And Resistance is so much of a difference from that.
Yeah, it was more 2D sort of animated series.
It felt like a Final Fantasy video game.
I could get past me personally. I could get past the animation aspect, kind of like whenever I first saw the Clone Wars movie. I went to actually see the theaters and saw that, and I wasn't expecting that. I was like, "Oh, Clone Wars movie, yay, cool!" I didn't even see the poster. I just heard about it.
Yeah.
I went and saw it, and it was a shock. It was like, "Oh, this is CG."
Yeah.
It took me a while to get adjusted, but then by the time it was like, "Oh, okay, I'm cool with this."
Did you enjoy the Clone Wars movie?
Yes, I did. I liked it.
You liked the Zero storyline?
I did. To a certain extent. I mean, it did obviously was a pilot for the actual series that was coming out later. So, and back then I wasn't really as in depth or really in tune with, what was going on or whatever. I just pretty much just like, I gotta watch this. It's because it's Star Wars and, whatnot. And, I mean, granted, it did feel like it was some episodes like chunked together and stuck together for a theatrical release, but Zero was a little weird to me. Granted, especially the voice. Okay, I watched the entirety of Resistance, both seasons. I can't. I did not outright hate it. Mm-hmm. I didn't like a lot of the choices that were made for the show. Anyways, circling back around to that little creature, there is a character in the show that was one of the ace pilots from there. You at least remember something about them. Yes. Yeah. She was the daughter of the captain or commander of the ship that they were on. Right. And Buggles was the name of that creature. She kept it. It was like a little dog. It was like a 6-legged pug thing or whatever. It was,
Those things had 6 legs.
Yeah, it had 6 legs. You couldn't.
It was sitting in the back of the trailer.
It was in the back of it. Yeah, you couldn't tell here, but in the show, it had 6 legs. Okay. But I mean, it was kind of like team pet or whatever. So
is Resistance something you would recommend? Because if you tell me to watch it, I'll go home and watch it, and I'll have it done before our next episode.
Well, let me put it this way: you could probably watch it and not really get too much new out of it. This is just me personally. Other people, you may have watching this, you may have other thoughts on it. That's fine. This is just me personally. Mm-hmm. The only thing that really it tied in was you got to see in the season 1 finale, you heard about Hosnian Prime being destroyed by the First Order. Outside of that, and having the First Order being around and being the main antagonists or whatever, that's about the only real connection.
So there's no animated versions of characters we already know or anything like that?
Yes, there is, but I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, okay.
If you ever wanted to see it. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, his live-action variant voices their persons. So
fair enough.
There's more than one.
Okay, I will check it out then.
I mean, like I said, it doesn't really bring anything new. I mean, it just... After that initial thing, and you, okay, this is who this person is, they went really nowhere with it. And
fair enough.
It was definitely geared a lot more towards like a 10 and under demographic, and stayed there.
Sounds perfect for me.
And granted, Clone Wars initially started out something like that, but even by season 2, it kind of grew with the audience.
Yeah.
But Resistance, there was a lot of speculation about, they could easily, show up and, they could, meet up with our heroes here, or this would have happened, and this will cross over here with the movies as they were going on, episode mainly 7 and 8. But it just really never happened. I don't know if... I don't know what I don't know anything behind the scenes what happened or why, but I got to get onto that because that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about Bad Batch.
Right, exactly.
So, let me think here. What else we had? The ship doesn't have a name.
Still
doesn't have a name. Still, so I'm just going to call it the ship, the Bad Batch home. Regardless, they had to scramble its code signature thingy so it wouldn't be able to be tracked as easily. Though I am kind of curious, though, how many ship have that specific design out there. If it's a unique design, then yeah, you may have a different signature. But if it's like physical shape is something that's distinct, that would be able to be tracked still.
I mean, they said last week it's a modified Omicron class attack shuttle.
Yeah.
That's all they said. They didn't say if that was like a standard design. When they say it's modified, I don't know if that means the exterior is modified as well. But like, I think that exactly what we're talking about right now is why they specifically stated the type and nomenclature of the ship last week.
Okay. Yeah.
Or was it 2 weeks ago? It was 2 weeks ago.
It was last week. It was last week because it was 2 weeks ago because that was the
cut and run.
Yes.
Yeah.
And going forward, though, now we have a bounty hunter in the Phoenix Shroud chasing after them, so they're going to have. I have a feeling they were looking for a place where they can basically lay low and stay and whatnot. I don't think that's an option anymore because if they stop anywhere, that gives Finnick or anybody else like her, if there's more out there, more bounty hunters out there, unless she took the bounty, this is mine, nobody else touch it, or come near me, this is my bounty, kind of like staking a claim, that sort of thing, because I can imagine she'd be one that if any other bounty hunters show up to try to claim the bounty, she'd kill them first.
Well, yeah, they made that very clear in Mandalorian when they introduced her originally, was she's very much like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a feeling we're going to be stuck on this ship for the foreseeable future, and it's just going to be planet hopping. Yeah. Per se. But at least now they have some food, they have some supplies, they have a scrambled ID code for their ship.
It's following a very Mandalorian style episode format.
Yeah. Self-contained and whatnot. But, it's still very enjoyable, very action-packed. And it's very... it's gorgeous, I should say.
Yeah.
The animation, the backgrounds. You got different types of architecture you see. So I'm just kind of even if that you're looking at something very gorgeous. Yeah. And you can do all this. You have the force field of focus. Had when at the beginning of the episode they were had the focus on like the background, and then Omega and Hunter walk in and pass the camera, and the focus shifts to them. I mean, that's something you don't necessarily have to do in animation. You could have had it all focused and them being in the focus from the beginning, but no, they took that extra time and being more cinematic with it.
Exactly.
Shifting that focus.
Exactly. And you can see between Clone Wars the movie, Clone Wars the TV show, doing the first season of Mandalorian, the 7th season of Clone Wars, and then the 2nd season of now Mandalorian, you could see how Dave Filoni, as a creative director and as a producer too, has matured.
Well, yeah, he did.
Now that he's filmed live action, he understands what field of focus is and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so you're seeing those little nuances show up in the animation.
Yeah, and one of the things that he did before, obviously, he did this little show from Nickelodeon called Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Right, exactly.
And that's kind of
yes.
I don't think it was the first thing he did, but that's kind of where he kind of cut his teeth a little bit.
Yep, exactly.
From in the animation, leading a show, directing type of thing, and did a fantastic job with it. And of course they had the creators over that show. But he was the actual the director. Doing maybe not every single episode, but a good portion of them. But
for sure.
And you can definitely tell Dave Filoni has had a hand in it because there is a wolf somewhere in there somewhere, because that's his favorite animal is wolves.
Yeah.
Tigers for me. So I don't really have anything else. I am looking forward to probably next week, see what we got going on there, what kind of adventures we're going to go on.
Yeah.
Thank you again. You're going to be probably a regular from here on out. So whenever we do the intros, you're not going to be a special guest. You're just going to be a cast member now.
Yes.
So, all right. Having said that, be sure, guys, to like and subscribe to the video, to the channel. Hit the little dingy bell thingy, that way whenever we put up a new episode, you're not going to miss it. And until next week, bye-bye and be blessed.